spectacles on. So we're in the home stretch. We're just about there. Thanks you guys for hanging in there. All right. But has this not been an amazing Spotlight 2018? Right? Has this not been an awesome Spotlight? You know, I want to recognize all the speakers that's been up here today, throwing out some nuggets, some really, really cool stuff. I tell you what, it's an all-star lineup that we have here in Kansas City. Forget those other places. We got it right here. All right. That's right. I want to recognize, of course, Mike and Raylan Whitney for putting all of this together. You know, it's every month they, put this together with the regionals, and hats off to them. But I want to talk about one particular person who, like I mentioned before, I've been friends with since I was a freshman in high school. Mike, I can talk about people development, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about Mike's journey. And he didn't know I was going to say anything about this, so he has no clue what I'm going to be talking about here today. So, I met him in Miss Cogdale's class in math in Excelsior Springs High School, all right, as a freshman, all right? We were both probably like 110 pounds soaking wet, all right? And Jen and I were talking about it. I didn't realize how young I was, and we were, right? 14 years old. My goodness, I've known this guy for a long time. And so what's really cool is that he's going to be turning 50 this year. All right? Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. He don't look 50. Does not look 50 at all. So, to say that I know a little bit about him is, an understatement. All right? Raylan kind of touched on it earlier. And I think it's kind of cool because public speaking was definitely not Mike's forte. As Raylan mentioned, when we first started in this Nerium fun times that we've been having, whenever Mike had to get up and speak, he had to take some liquid refreshment, liquid encouragement, get up there and be able to speak. And I tell you what, today, seeing him today, it's like just a total different person. Who now, he seems really, really calm when he's up here on stage. Just a natural, right? So, Nerium has done an awesome job. And what he has accomplished, in his life. Of course, to have a wife as outgoing and caring as Raylan, certainly helps too, right? And so, I get to talk a little bit about, like I said, people development. And I think what's encouraging, which is why I have this here on my shirt, is if you really dig in to Nerium here, and all in the back office, so much personal development is just crazy. All right? Give a shout out to Chris. Chris is another one who's really into personal development. Chris Ojeda. And one of the things that, as going through reading, going through my personal development, there's one thing I like to write down quotes, right? So if you got a pen or pencil ready, I thought this was a pretty awesome quote. And when we talk about people development. Those of you who know Zig Ziglar, Zig Ziglar once said, "You can't help someone row to the other side of the river without reaching the other side yourself." Right? Guy is, if you haven't read any of his books, I definitely encourage you to read. And which button? Give a push. Get it to the next. There we go. All right. So, which type of leader is the most successful? All right. We have our personal selling leaders. All right. Those who focus really on customer acquisition. It's good. It's good to have somebody who is like that. But they solely focus on customer acquisition. You have an example. A good example would be like your salon owner, right? They get their clientele from word of mouth, how well someone does, how well they do someone's hair. You name it, all the beauty stuff that they do. A lot of that is through word of mouth, through Facebook now. Social media, I know, has to have had a huge impact, on those individuals. Next up, we have first joined Nerium, I remember what Mark Smith had given us an example of leadership in the system. You know, you want to come into a turnkey system. You know, he's always mentioned that turnkey system. And it's always stuck in my memory, in my mind. The example he gave was McDonald's. All right? When you walk into McDonald's, in any McDonald's, anywhere in the country, and probably in the world, but mostly, definitely in the U.S., everything is in its place because it works most efficiently that way. And I remember him telling us, all right, close your eyes. Where's the fry machine? Point to it. And everybody pointed over to the left. Where's the Sunday machine? Everybody pointed over to the right. All right? So it's that system. You know, the leaders, they saw how important it is that they use the system. But also, most importantly, though, is to lead by example. All right? And a great example that I want to tell you about how to lead by example is that whenever I'm coaching somebody, I always start out by saying, look, I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. Right? I say that every time I'm coaching somebody. So they know I would not tell them to do something that's something I wouldn't do. All right? You know, I wouldn't, you know, like we're sitting in a restaurant. I've got a magazine. And I would be saying, hey Mike, can you get this magazine over to that waitress over there and let her know that this company can change your life? And Mike said, why? Well, okay. Have you done it? No, but I'm sure it'll work. Go ahead. You know, that's not really going to be good for that person to know that, oh, well, if you haven't done it, why do you think it's going to work for me? Right? So you really have to do that and lead by example. Oh, what'd I do? I remember.
The guy always has a remote in his hand.
I know, right? And a remote in my hand. Let me just do that. This button. All right. Cool. There we go. All right. Keep pushing the wrong buttons. So where our attention goes, our energy flows. All right? So how do you instill vision in people? You know, it talks about developable leaders invest their energy where they see energy. All right? So, for example, you know, I have Tom and Jerry on my team. And those of you who know Tom and Jerry. So Tom just wanted to make an extra few $100 a month. All right? While Jerry, well, he really wants to grow his business. Moving with his hair on fire, you know, and want to get all the cheese that he can get. So, as a leader, yes, I'm going to take some time to spend with that person who just wants to spend, you know, earn a few $100. I'll spend some time with them. But where that energy is at, that's where I'm going to focus on. Jerry, I'm going to focus and do a lot with him because he's ready to run. You know, so run with him. I think what most important we forget about is that, you know, when those people who are in it just for an extra few $100, we can't not forget about those people as well. Because yeah, they're in it for right now, so they're earning a few $100. They realize that something comes up, they see something, you know, life will get in the way, and they may have to have this as their plan A instead of their plan B. All right? You got to be ready and willing to help them out when that happens. All right? Clarity and focus create energy. Now remember Jeff, he's always stated that, you know, you got to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. All right? You can't create what you don't have. So we got to consistently work on our personal energy as well. And then goals. Oh my goodness. Goals create clarity, a weekly check, and create focus. So let me ask you guys something really quick. By a show of hands, how many have goals for 2018? Awesome. I love it. How many of you have goals for the next 6 months? Woo! All right. What about the next 90 days? Okay. Not as many, but what about next week? Good. I love it. What about tomorrow? You guys got some goals for tomorrow? I'll tell you what, I'm done. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. That's awesome. I love it. Because I think one of the things that David Bird always states, plan tomorrow the day before. Plan your week the week before. Plan your month the month before. It's so important to be able to do that as a leader. All right? And then finally, you got to know as a leader, development leader, is that where the coaching is more effective, whether it be with a group or with a single person. When I first started in Nerium, there was a lot of stuff that, I was, coaching my team in the back office. It was great to do that as a group. But when I saw someone that was struggling more, specifically in back office stuff, I said, look, after this, let's meet separately and I can help you out and do more one-on-one. That meant a lot to them, but also meant a lot to me because I'm helping that person, right? So that was a huge, huge encouragement to them for me to take that time out of my day to help them out specifically for what they needed to have done. So the people develop process, teach, model, review, duplicate, So wash, rinse, dry, repeat, right? So very, very important. You teach them how to do the business. You model, you show them how to do the business. Review it, you watch them, help them be better. And then, of course, finally, teach the teach. In corporate America, we have train the trainers, right? Because we're not going to be able to train all the time. We have to have additional trainers because we always have people coming in to work. Same thing here. We want people to grow the business with us, right? So we got to show them the way that what they need to do. Help them, as their brand new brand partners. Help them get their product for free, Show them how to do that. Get started on the basics. Show them the back office, right? Tell them about the achievement ladder, how important that is. Help them recruit one VP. Teach a Class A prospect system. Put that 10 in play. Follow up with them consistently. That's the most important. You always hear that. It's in the follow up, and it also stays true to your brand partners. Okay, and then of course, last but I think most importantly is it help them set realistic and attainable monthly goals. Okay, one of the things that Jenny Bird has mentioned, David has said it as well. Reach attainable goals. My goal, because right now it's the new year. Everyone's, all right, I'm going to start working out. All right, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. If you've never worked out a day in a week, let alone a month, you think that's going to be a realistic goal to start working out 5 days a week? More than likely not. All right? Your head's in the right place, but your body's not going to be there because it's something you're not used to doing. So set attainable goals. Instead of saying 5 days a week, 2 days a week. Something that's easily attainable. And then, of course, once you do that consistently, then you can start stretching that out. 3 days, 4 days a week. All right? Make the connection. Help them to discover their why. Your why, I tell you what, your why has to be bigger than your why not. That's so important. Sometimes, it might even help you and help your team is to maybe even keep a record of their why. So that way you can help them remember when they may lose sight of it. A great example, I've got a couple examples. Danny Gatsby, I remember him telling me he had a picture of his dad, in his planner. Ray Lynn, she had a picture of Connor in her planner. I don't know if she still has it in there. She still has it, So that's examples to be able to know that, that's the reason why they're in this. Okay? Be consistent. Always do what you say you will do. And that's important in everything, not just in business, but in life as well. If you say you're going to be on a Zoom with your VP to help them with somebody possibly on the fence, show up, be on the Zoom call. Please, do what you say you're going to do. Become genuinely interested in the VP's growth. There's going to be an opportunity. I know when we first started this, I'm in corporate America, so, I have, 50 hours plus a week in my corporate job. Jen has been able to retire from dentistry and be able to help out. I've seen that woman go to so many RRPs, to help out her team, to be the expert, and it's so cool because she was genuinely interested in their growth. Because one of the things that, again, this company talks about is that investing in others. You invest in others, it's going to come back to you. All right? And then finally, help them remain clear with their goals, and of course, focus on the tracking. If you don't have the goals and you're not tracking to get to those goals, you're just kind of out there. You're kind of in la la land, and you're going to lose focus. All right. Finally, one of the things I really like to do is promote their achievements. Different people really prefer different methods of recognition. Now, some really want to, go after a trip. All right. Some like, maybe I'm not, quite out there to go after the trip. I think right now with this promotion we have a lot of people like, man, you have an opportunity to go on a trip, but does really GoPro camera? I really want that GoPro camera, And so different things motivate people. And so it's important to help them to discover what it is that motivates them. Okay? All people are different, and of course you can never depend on a cookie cutter approach. So true, so true. Always going through, I've always heard the term, you can't put a round peg in a square hole, So always make sure that you understand that people are different. When coaching people, be 100% present, because they will test that energy. I tell you what, I have a really bad, especially nowadays with the social media, we have our phones in our hand. It's amazing. I challenge you guys, when you go to a restaurant and you're eating with your wife or your friends or family or whatnot, really encourage you guys to, to try and keep that phone away. I admit, it's hard for me as well. And you look around at a restaurant, it's so amazing. Sometimes we've caught ourselves, we're sitting there and we're on our phones. Right there. We have that opportunity to share that time on the phones. All right? Be there for your brand partner. All right? 100%. Be present. Even when I'm at work coaching, they'll come over, we'll talk about a call, and I'll glance over and I'll see a computer email or a Skype, and it's so hard not to try and turn around and, hold on a second, let me do this Skype real quick. How would you feel? It's like, okay, well, am I not important? You better go listen to see some kind of Skype versus help me, with my call. So it's very, very important to be there, 100%. And of course, help them get a win. Bless you. Help them get their first brand partner. Help them get that first customer. Really encourage and really, really, as it says up here, promote their achievement. For some of us who may be that customer go-getter or the VP go-getter, every opportunity you have to recognize that achievement, encourage, that person. Do it. You have that opportunity, put it out there on Facebook, send a text to them, anything you can to recognize that person. Because I tell you what, there's nothing a lot better for me anyway than see my name on the lights, right? So it's very, very cool to have that opportunity to do that. Because I tell you what, in the back end, as this company is about, it talks about how the more you help others on your team, the more it's going to help yourself, right? And that's really what we want to try and do is people develop so that we're in this business together, right? And we want to have as much fun while we're doing it. Which is why it's been so fun hanging out here with, like I said, with our best friends, being a part of something that's just truly amazing. Become to know so many people here that's become my friends, and it is kind of like a brotherhood. It's so cool that I was to go to another city and mention something about Nerium. If it was to get in earshot, what did you say, Nerium? Hey, I do Nerium. And it's boom, instant. That's so cool to be a part of it. So I just want to say, anytime you have an opportunity to encourage somebody, do it. Because it's that little thing, like I mentioned earlier this morning, is that in facing the giants, the encouragement that coach gave that kid. He thought for sure he could only do 20 yards. And he was able to go a full 100 yards to that football field with a kid on his back. Because